Good morning. So today we are going to do a little pumping chit chat session, and we are going to be joined by a super cute little special guest, and that is, who is that? Who is that? Is that you? He is all wrapped up on his bobby right now, and it is cold for Florida. I don't know what it was, but they said it's going to be in the teens. And I don't know if you know this, if you're not from Florida, but we have these giant, massive iguanas, and they're an invasive species, so they're trying to get rid of them. They were brought over, they think, on a boat from the islands, whether through shipment or anything like that. They're not 100% positive where they came from. But they're these giant, huge iguanas, and they live up in the palm trees. And a lot of times you'll see in parking lots, they're like scatter around. And when it gets really cold, they fall out of the trees and lay there. They're not dead. They just are kind of frozen. And then they'll thaw and they'll warm back up, and then they just kind of go on their way. And it's one of those weird things that happen in Florida. Maybe it happens other places. I don't know. But it is super cold this morning. So that is why my little dude over here is joining me early. Because normally I pump after I feed him. And then he sleeps for usually another 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes 2 hours depending on when I got up to feed him. But this morning it was really cold in this house. We don't have the heat on, so it's just kind of bundled up with blankets, because with Florida usually it's cold at night and then in the morning you're back up into the 80s. But my mom actually made this blanket for him, and it's a Dumbo theme which matches his nursery, and it's super soft on the inside. So he is just on his bobby pillow, just kind of lounging and hanging there and staying nice and warm. So this morning my pumping routine's a little bit different than normal. And I've been having a little bit of a hard time. I don't know if anybody else is struggling with this, and I don't really know how to fix it. But I'm having a hard time responding to the pump anymore. With our breastfeeding story, we latched perfectly fine in the hospital. He did awesome. He ate like a champ. We went through the first 3 days, and then we got home. And when we got home, I don't know if it was once my milk came in, it was too much for him. My flow was too strong. I'm not 100% positive, but pretty much when my milk came in, that was it. He was done. There was nothing he could do. He kept crying at my breast. He didn't want to eat. And he went like 6 hours without feeding. So I finally told my husband, listen, let me try the pump. Let me see what I can do, see what I can get out, and go to the store and get formula. That is my number one tip for new moms. Find a formula brand you think you'll like. Again, you don't know your child's allergies or symptoms, but find something and have a can of it and a gallon of purified water before you have that baby, because you do not know what your story will hold. I did not think I would ever have to give my child formula. I figured he would be 100% breastfed. That's what I wanted to do. That was my mindset. That unfortunately did not happen. So I gave him 2 ounces of formula because I wanted to see if he was crying at the breast because something else was wrong, or if it was because of my breasts. And that's what it was. I think it was either my milk was too strong, it was the flow was too much for him, and I was new to all this. I didn't know that you have a letdown and you have this and you have that. I was never told any of that, to be completely honest with you. Prenatal care and education is lacking in our health department, so no one sat there and said, hey, you might run into these issues. Hey, you might have this or that going on. They came into the hospital, a lactation consultant, but all they kept doing was, here, let me show you these 8 million maneuvers that you need 2 hands, 6 hands, 9 hands to do to get your son to latch. And, oh, yep, he's feeding, they're good, and walked out. So it wasn't it was just hard. It was just hard. So we gave him formula, and then I pumped, and that was when my love affair with the pump started. Um, Literally, we would pump, feed, pump, feed, pump, feed, pump, feed, and that is hard to do with a newborn who needs to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Um, it was very exhausting, and I remember when he was about 4 weeks old, I still always offered him the breast, and then he just latched out of nowhere. And then me and my husband were so used to the pumping, we didn't know if he was getting enough from my breast. So then that started a whole anxiety thing. Is he eating enough? Am I producing enough? Is his soft spot sunken in? Does he have any signs of dehydration? How many wet diapers did he have a day? Whereas when I saw that output on that bottle, I knew he was going to get at least 4 ounces. I knew he was going to get at least 3 ounces. So that anxiety side of it played up a lot when I first started breastfeeding exclusively. But now that my milk is kind of regulating, I'm noticing, you pull out your bassy. You're so cute. You don't have to leave it in. You can chew on your hands. That's okay. I'm starting to notice that I'm responding less to the pump, and that makes me nervous. Yesterday I pumped in total about 18 ounces, and I need 15 to get him through the day. And that made me very nervous because I've always been an over producer, and now, I'm still over, but it's not, bless you, it's not where I have like a huge cushion where I used to. So I don't know what to do at this point to make it go up. I make lactation brownies, I do that kind of thing, but I don't really think it makes that big of a difference, to be completely honest with you. And it's a lot of calories, and I don't know if you know this or not, but sorry. But I am trying to lose weight to get back to my pre-baby, pre-IVF body, which took me a long time to get there in the first place. Before I got pregnant, I lost 130 pounds, and I was very determined to not gain all that weight back by pregnancy. Unfortunately, you can't control life, and it happened. And then I would do it all over again because I have this handsome boy right here. I have that handsome boy right there. Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, I didn't know if anyone else was struggling with that, because that was kind of our breastfeeding story. And now it's the point, I'm glad that he had a bottle so early, because he takes pacifiers, he takes bottles, he doesn't have that super, super intense attachment to me to where, like, sometimes when you do exclusively breastfeed, they can develop. He's super easy and chill, and but I'm not used to this. I've always been an oversupplier, and I think the pump sometimes helps with that. And then also, I think that your body learns to respond to the pump. My letdown would start when I would start the machine, the sound of it. Whereas most women, their letdown is their sound of their child crying, or, making their hunger cues. So my body's kind of like in this in-between, because it's responding to both now, but it's responding stronger to him than it is to the pump. So I gotta kind of figure out something, because I need to at least be able to pump enough to be away from him. Because I know when he eats, he's getting plenty. He's happy, he's content. Yes. Tell me about it. But if I cannot pump enough, then my breastfeeding journey is going to be a little bit altered. It's going to have to include formula, and I really would prefer not to. If I have to, a fed baby is a happy baby, and I know that, and I'm a huge proponent of that. You need to do what's best for your child. You need to feed your child. Those are the two most important things. So pretty much that's kind of where my mind was at this morning, and I think it doesn't help when you're stressed, when you're pumping, because it's affected by your water output, what you've eaten for the day, if you are getting your cycle back, which I've spotted here and there, but no cycle back yet. All those things really do affect your cycle. So, and they do affect, I'm sorry, not your cycle, I apologize. Your supply, they do affect it. So me stressing out about my supply is just going to make it worse. So I'm trying to just go with the flow, which is not my personality. But since my pumping routine was a little bit updated, I figured I'd let you know. So on the mornings that my handsome boy wakes up and doesn't go back to sleep, a lot of times, like I said, I put him on the boppy, and he's literally right in front of me, so it's not anything like unsafe sleep. I know he's underneath the blanket. You're not supposed to use a blanket with that, but I'm literally right here. I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to move him. If I leave the room, he goes with me. And then he's facing me, so I can see. He pulls the blanket up, and again, he's laying on top of it, and the amount that's left literally goes straight to where his shoulder line is. So it's not to the point to where he can pull it over his head. And then what we're going to do is when it hits, it's 6:30 now, so I'm already running a little bit behind. But again, the other morning I got 9 ounces, and today I've gotten maybe 4. And on the other side, about 3. So that's all I've gotten this morning. So that's 7 ounces, which is enough for one feeding. So that's I can stop. But, you know, I used to get a lot, and I still sometimes do. It's just some days are just not the best days for pumping. So it just sucks. So I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to finish this and pack this up and then get ready myself and then get my little man over here ready. And then we're going to go brave the winter cold. So I will talk to you later. See you then.